"Oh, did you read our mission statement?" And I was like, "No." Hey guys, welcome back to the tube. My name is Chanel. If you're new here, I do work from home vlogs, lifestyle, productivity, reset vlogs, all that good stuff. Today's video is going to be a little bit different though. As most of you or some of you might have known, I used to be in ophthalmology field. I was a technician. I also was an optometric technician, medical assistant, whatever you want to categorize it as. So I'm just going to be offering some helpful tips. Even though I don't work in that field anymore, 5 helpful tips, as well as some example interview questions that I've been asked personally when I was in an interview, whether I got the job or didn't get the job. I'll also let you know the best way that I personally think you can respond to these to ace your interview. The interview questions and things like that aren't only towards ophthalmology. You can use them in optometry. You can also use it if you're just going in for just a normal interview to any job really. So hopefully you get something from this. Okay, tip number 5, prepare your stories. What do I mean by this? You know how you're in the job interview and they're asking you, oh, name a time when, name a so-and-so when you did this or you did that. You reacted negatively, did you not react negatively? Oh, it's my leaf, it's my plant. I'm so slow. They want to know how you respond to under pressure, you respond to irate customers or patients or things like that. That's what I mean. Prepare those stories because they're gonna ask you what happened, how did you respond, what was the outcome, things like that. So it's always good to have that done. And I've only been asked those types of questions maybe once or twice during the interview. And if you can just think of a really good recent story, or because we know we work in customer service, when you work in customer service or in the medical field, things are bound to happen. So trust me, you have a story. Just dig, even if it's from 10 years ago. Just dig, find that one story, elaborate on it, even if you can't really remember what you think you might have said or whatever, how you would normally react to something that happened. Just go with that. Also, if you're not doing ophthalmology, you can do the same thing with retail, in the food industry, anything like that. So prepare your stories, even if you have to write it down. I've literally written out what happened, what day it was, what was said, what transpired after the fact, and I brought it with me. I left it in my car or somewhere. I didn't actually have it in front of me, but just keep going over it, try to remember it the best you can, and go ahead and just let them know. Just be down to earth, like we're talking here, besties. Just be like that with the interviewer. Tip number 4, brag about yourself, okay? Don't sell yourself short. You know, being trained is nice and all, but providers, specifically doctors, they really want to look for someone who has a good attitude, because you can be trained all day in said field and have the worst attitude ever. I've seen it before. If you watched my video before, became an ophthalmic technician with no school, no training whatsoever. I started in optometry, no training, no school whatsoever in optometry, but I had a great attitude. I love people. Let them know that you love people of all ages, old folks, kids, whoever, does not matter. You love them. You know, that's what a part of this job is to love people and have that love of neighbor. So have the right attitude, have the right skills and abilities, things like that. And like I said, even if you've never worked in this field, just you can name a time when you volunteered somewhere, or helping out with your parents, your siblings, some older person at your church or wherever it is that you're going to. Talk about that if you don't have any experience in ophthalmology or optometry. And doctors and just interviewers, managers in general, just really, really, really love to see that. They love to see people with a great attitude. You're smiling during the thing. You don't have to smile the whole entire time because that mess hurts. But you're smiling during the interview. You have eye contact. If you have trouble looking at people's eyes like I do, look at right here, at their nose, the middle of their nose. Stare at their forehead, stare at their teeth, mouth, something. If you have trouble, don't laugh at them, but where you can glance away every now and again too, but just just let them know that you're engaged, you're listening, and you're being honest, sincere, and serious about what it is you're talking about. Sorry, there was just one thing that I really forgot to mention that I really, really, really wanted to mention. While it is very important to let them know that you love people and that you love ophthalmology, optometry, whatever medical field, whatever field you're in, it's also important to let them know that you like to learn. You love to learn. That is a really key factor. If you don't have that much experience, but you have a few things, let them know. If you were a cashier, if you started off as a cashier, you moved up to a bookkeeper, which is what happened to me. That's why I'm saying that. You started as a cashier, you moved up to a bookkeeper, you moved up to a manager. Let them know all of that. Let them show them the progression from whatever entry level place you came from, or whatever entry level study you did up to a higher degree or a higher level. Let them know that you love to learn, because we learn continuously for the rest of our lives. So keep that in mind too. You don't just love people, you love to learn, you love to be taught. Tip number 3, know the company, doctor, or office that you are applying to. This has happened to me before where I had no idea what in the world. I just saw the ad, applied to it, and then when I got in there and they asked me, oh, did you read our mission statement? And I was like, no. So I kind of like made something up. I don't even know, y'all, I'm crazy. Needless to say, that did not go well. So know the company, look on their website, look at the about me. You can even go into doctor's offices and ask the workers or something about the office. Ask the women that work up the front. If you're a patient at the place that you're applying to, ask the girl or the guy who's examining you. Talk to the doctor. You can talk to the providers too if you want to. Most doctors I work with are very vocal and very nice and genuine, and they will talk to you about their company or about the practice that they work at or that they own. So don't be afraid to get to know the people there. Look at those mission statements, y'all, because I had no idea that that was going to be asked, and that mess threw me for a loop. Okay, a loop. Tip number 2, dress the part. Now, most places are casual. So I've been into interviews where you can wear your scrubs to the interview if you had them, but you don't want to be overly dressed. I mean, you can go in heels and stuff, but I wouldn't, or in like Oxfords or whatever type of shoes guys wear, I don't know. But I wouldn't overly dress, but I wouldn't underdress. I would never wear jeans to an interview, ever, ever, ever. That's no sandals, no or you can wear sandals, no flip-flops, nothing like that. So just make sure that you're dressed presentably how you would want to see someone come in that was interviewing with you. Last but not least, tip number 1, and this is an important tip for people that seems to be forgotten. I forget it when I've been into interviews. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Just be yourself, like we're doing now. Again, talking to the interviewer or the doctor, the office manager, talking to them like you would a friend. They see you as people, you see them as people. They want to hire people to help people. So if you're just keeping at the forefront, everyone's people, everyone's a person. It's a normal process of life to be interviewed. Like, it's not that bad. It's not horrible if you fail the interview or if you don't get the job. Just keep on pushing. You can even ask the interviewer after, if they tell you that you didn't get the job, you know, what things you can work on, things like that, which is what I like to do, to ask them what I could have done better or differently. So just be yourself in the interview. Just go in there knowing your stuff, okay? Now on to the example interview questions. So these are just some of the questions that I've been asked on an interview in ophthalmology and optometry. Question number 1, where do you see yourself in the future? I know a lot of y'all get stumped with that, and I will say I do have a bad example of this. One time I was asked this question at an interview at an optometry practice, and didn't know what the heck I was saying. I literally said to the guy who was an optometrist interviewing me, I don't know. That's what I said, I don't know. Needless to say, I didn't get the job. I did not get the job. That's something you should know. Know what you want in the future, even if it's not they don't even specify. You don't have to say, oh, I want to be here in 5 years. I want to be here in 1 year. I want to be here in 10 years. You could say, hey, my goal for the rest of this year is to have more knowledge on retinas, or knowledge on how to refract, or how to dilate patients, or things like that. Like, you can tell them about your small goals and things like that. Tell them about your wins too, but you can tell them about your small goals, or if you have plans to get your certifications, because there is different levels of certifications. You can become a technician, medical assistant. I think you can also do a surgical ophthalmic technician, which is what I wanted to do originally, but life took a different turn for me. And that's okay. But yeah, just tell them about what you love, like what your passion is. And most people who are watching this, you probably really love ophthalmology, so just let them know about it. A second question, what have you done to improve your knowledge of your field or your knowledge of ophthalmology? This is about the same thing. We're going back to that first question. Just let them know what you have been doing, what you are working on, things that are helping you. I've literally walked into offices and asked to shadow people, like right off the street. When I thought I was gonna be in dental assisting school, I literally went into my brother's dentist. Never been there before, and I was like, hey, can I shadow some of the dental assistants and the dental hygienists? And the dentist said yeah. So don't be afraid to ask, because everyone's learning. Most of these people who are hiring, most doctors know that you're new, and you know, they were new once too, and we all start somewhere. Another question, why did you get into this field, or what was your last position like? You don't have to really elaborate on that. Definitely don't mention the negative stuff. If you had problems with people at work, with your old bosses, or with your old co-workers, don't mention that. And it's sometimes tempting, especially when you get super comfortable with whoever's interviewing you. That almost happened to me once. I got super comfortable with the woman that was interviewing me. We were like besties up in there laughing and stuff, and I almost said something about someone I worked with. Not a good look. So always remain positive when you're answering that question. Also remaining positive when you answer, why did you get into this field? Just speak from the heart. Don't try to like do like book smart stuff, like, oh, I got in this to do this and to do that and to blah 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 blah. Well, you can be book smart, but just let them know, even if it sounds cliche, y'all got into this because I love people and want to help people. That's what's true. That's what they want to, that's what's honest. That's what they want to hear. Just elaborate on that a little bit more. Don't just say, oh, I want to help people, but say what you want to do to help people, or why you feel like you want to do this to help people. I love working with the optometrist and seeing a little girl see for the first time, or seeing the smile on the baby's face when they put on their little bifocal, their little tiny glasses or whatever they have on, like just stuff like that. Or seeing someone who was about to go blind or something, but something drastically happened and now they can see again. 2 more questions that you could be asked. What salary are you looking for? Or what pay are you asking for? That's a big one for people. I made a mistake of doing this. First off, don't lowball yourself, okay? It's easy to like be like, oh, I'm new, so I only need to be making like $12 or $10 or whatever, or it's okay. I mean, if that's what you want to make, by all means, but don't lowball yourself. If you have good experience or a good skill, even if it's not in ophthalmology, but it can be transferable. Like I've had medical assistant friends who transferred to, or not medical assistant friends. Yeah, no, we work together. They were in the medical assistant field. I've had a woman who's a bartender who was working with me too. If you have those skills that can transfer into this, then let them know. Let the manager know, let the doctors know. That's what they want to know. And if you are able to say what it is that you can do that can contribute to the company, you can ask for a higher amount. So don't be afraid to ask for a higher amount, okay? And show why you should be making that much. I did it a few times and it always has worked out for me, always. And I always aim a little bit higher than what I really want. That way they come back down and meet me where I was gonna be asking for in the first place, okay? Last question. Do you have any questions? No, not you, the manager or the physician that's interviewing you. Whenever they ask you, do you have any questions? It can be so easy to be like, no, that's all. You're just ready to get out of there. You are, or your heart was beating super fast. You were super nervous and you just want to go home. You want all this interview to end. Don't. Whenever they ask, do you have any questions? Say yes. Ask them questions. Ask them about the position, where do people go or move up once they get into this position, where else they can work at, what type of certifications or degrees that they can get while they're working in this. Ask the interviewer or the doctor where they started from, or how do they enjoy working in this field, or how do they enjoy working at this said company and things like that. They really like that. I do that all the time, and people love to talk about themselves, okay? They love to talk about themselves. So don't be afraid to ask them about themselves. Ask about the company. Ask about anything pertaining to the job, like, hey, what type of things do you guys do to keep up employee morale? Do you guys do little get-togethers? Because a lot of them do. They be partying, okay? Ophthalmology people be well, medical field in general, they party, okay, as a company, because you know how stressful the medical field is, so you need to have something. You need to have something. So always, always, always ask questions when they ask you that question at the end. Do you have questions? Yes. So that is the end. We have come to the end. If you made it to the end, thank y'all so much. Y'all are some cool behind people, okay? I love y'all. Y'all have been showing me such support. If you really liked this video and found it informative, let me know in the comments section. Give it a thumbs up so other people can see it too. And as always, thank y'all so much for coming to this little corner of the tube. Have a good day.